license, registration, and insurance.
Hi, my name is Wayne. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about traffic court. But before we talk about traffic court, I want to bring you back to my childhood and how I was brought up. And probably you'll understand it once I get closer to the traffic court story. But I see a lot of videos on the internet, and it shows someone being pulled over and a bunch of crazy stuff happening. So let me bring you back to how I was brought up. And I can remember a time when I was in elementary school, and I have a West Indian background. And those of you in the West Indian communities, you know West Indian people, they don't play. So I grew up at a time, I'm Generation X, grew up at a time where, you know, your yes mean yes and your no mean no, and you dare not talk back to your parents or elderlies. But I remember in the elementary school, I would sit in the backyard in the summer and I would read the newspaper, the New York Times, and I would explain to my father what I read. And growing up, he gave us a leeway. I remember very vividly, you know, make sure you're inside the house before it was dark. Today, you can't do that. Today is just, you know, the generation that I grew up and the generation today, the things that I grew up with is no longer in effect. So I remember, you know, getting in trouble here and there, but I remember that father figure. And I remember, you know, I was, you know, went to my dad in times of need, also a discipline. And I remember a time where he said, you know what, I would hear friends who, you know, disrespect their mom, and the pops will come home and there's no pillow that's going to save you. So, you know, so that's the environment I grew up with. And, you know, respect, you know, you had to you know, play by the rules, you had to follow, and to make sure that you are responsible for your actions. And today we see that, you know, the back talk, the rolling of the eyes, you know, my father would teach me various things. And one of the things that I learned was you own your action. You're responsible for your action. Own it. And I remember doing grand jury, and I loved doing grand jury. And we would sit there and we would hear cases after cases after cases. We would be in the jury room, and the purpose of a grand juror was to indict. Do we have enough evidence to indict you to send that off to trial, where you have a bunch of jurors coming in and now the trial begins and jury selection and stuff like that. And I loved it. And I remember there were 3 cases that we threw those cases out. I remember one case very vividly that that person was being framed, that we threw it out. And thank God for the ladies in the room. They were able to pinpoint, wait a minute, that person didn't write that. You know, this guy's being framed. Let's throw that out. So here I'm going to talk about the road. So you're going to be pulled over. You know, unfortunately, you know, if you're in the situation, you're going to be pulled over for one of 3 reasons. 1, medical attention. 2, for a warning. Or 3, you're getting a ticket. And picture getting a ticket as football. You know, the referee, the person blows the whistle. And the referee blows the whistle. Number 155, offsides, 5-yard penalty. And you say, Wayne, what does this have to do with cars? Same thing with the cars on the road. Either the service road or the highway. You broke, or you had some kind of infraction against the state. And because of that, you're going to get a ticket. And ticket can vary in the amounts of anywhere from, you know, $100 and up. So it depends how severe. So one thing I learned is you own it. Someone walk up to you, if you're on the side of the road, and, you know, law enforcement, we call them first responders. First responders tell you to do something. Before the first responder get to you, turn on your light, make sure your license registration is already out, so you have to dig in your pocket searching. This person that's approaching you, which is law enforcement, doesn't know you from a hole in the wall. You having a conversation, you know, talking about the Super Bowl with the police officers, that's not the time and place. You know, if you feel that you're wrong, You don't mouth off at the officer. You shut your mouth. Only speak as you're being spoken to, and don't show your aggression. That's not the time and place. The goal is still one of those three things. Either you need some kind of medical attention, or your car is broken down. Either you're going to get a warning or you're going to get a ticket. Like I said, one of those three. So thank God for the way I was brought up, because over the years, there have been maybe, if I can count in one hand how many times I've been pulled over, but in each and every case, you always act with professionalism. And I see on the news, police officer with his flashing light, and his dash cam will actually see the passenger. There's a driver and a passenger. Sometimes in cases like that, the passenger decides to get out and run, pitch black. Now this is the time you want to jog. Where you running to? Stuff like that you don't want to do. So you want to remain calm, collective, and person come over, he's going to explain to you the reason why you're being pulled over, and you own it. Like I said, if you feel that you're in the wrong, you do have a time where you can take it to traffic court, and you can fight it. You can explain to the judge what happened. But when you're sitting in your car and someone's asking you a bunch of questions, that's not the time to get defensive. You own it. And the reason why I say that, because we see too many times where whether the person's in the car, they're standing, and they're being accused of something, and all of a sudden they start back talking. No, you own it. And cases like that, and this is no disrespect to the people out there who were in encounters like that, and then it went left. The way to disarm that, the way to, I'm not going to say get out of it, but to have a outcome in your favor. Own what you did, whatever you did. Hey, I didn't know that, or didn't mean to do that. No offense. A soft answer turns away wrath. But in either case, like I said, I'm here to talk about traffic court. So in the West Indian background, we were taught your yes is yes, your no is no, and do not talk unless being spoken to. And all West Indian culture is, you don't even talk back to your parents in your dreams. So that's the type of background that I was brought up with. Now, traffic court. I remember one time getting pulled over, and I believe, can't remember if it was for a cell phone. Had a cell phone in my hand. In New York, you cannot hold a cell phone in your hand while you're driving. They have a law against that. So I believe that I was in the right. I wasn't holding the cell phone in my hand, and I took it to court. And courtroom, that's a whole day you got to take off. Whether you're in school, work, you got to take that whole day off. So me and this young lady sitting in the back, and when I noticed it was a female judge, and she was pretty much fair. And I've seen police officers and then the defendant stand, and police officer would explain first, this person is such and such. And sometime I would see the judge would throw that ticket out. Sometime I see the judge would reduce that ticket. And, a few cases, the police officer didn't show up. So towards the end of the day, the young lady sitting to my left, her case comes up. She goes up. She stands in front of the judge. She's on the left. The police officer on the right. Police officer explaining what happened, and he finished. He's looking at her, looking up at her. The judge turned around, looked at her as well. You have nothing to say? Can't proceed. Case dismissed. Boom. She's out. My case comes up. Mr. Robinson come up. I come up, and she makes a phone call because my police officer wasn't there. She made a call, I believe 3 times. Still didn't show up. Mr. Robinson, case is dismissed. So when I say, now it's not the time to mouth off at the police officer, like I said, because that's just going to make the situation worse. You want to be calm and collective. You want to act professional. And many times, some of these instances where someone's pulled over, things go left because of the person sitting in the car or the driver or whatever, and it doesn't have to be like that. So this is just a way how to conduct yourself when you pull over, when you made an infraction against the state. You made a left turn and the light was yellow and then the light turned red and you got a ticket because of it, or you made a right turn or whatever, or you did a U-turn in the yellow line, whatever it may be. You're gonna get a ticket, you're gonna get a warning, or like I said, you're gonna get some kind of medical intervention, or your car could have broken down and they're there to offer assistance. But like I said, this is the way how you conduct yourself. So I should have made this video a long time ago to teach people how to interact with first responders. You want to call them police officers, you want to call them officers. This is the video on how you should respond to them. And you take that ticket, no one likes to get a ticket, nobody, including myself. So if you want to mouth off at the police officer, one thing that you can say is, how much is the ticket? More than likely, he's going to tell you to turn around and read the description on the back. You can send it in, you can pay it online, whatever. But that's if you want to, vent your frustration a little bit. I didn't do it or whatever. But like I said, you always have options. You're driving a $100,000 vehicle. You get a ticket for $100, $200, $300, and you're very upset. Now, mind you, your car is $100,000 and you're getting upset because you're getting 100, 200. That ticket's going to do one or two things. Either you'll think twice if you're in that area again not to do certain things, or you won't realize anything. It'll just go over your head. But like I said, you're driving a very expensive car. That ticket, $100, $200, $300, that's not going to kill you. Pay it or move on or learn from your mistakes. And that's what I wanted to bring to your attention. So, like always, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon.